Welcome and welcome back. My name is Sean. This is my 2 cents. And for the past 10, 15 minutes, I've been talking to this screen and I was not recording. And oh my goodness. So, I want to come on here and do my review of The Color Purple. I just got back home. I always rate my movies between 1 and 5. My son give it a 4. My sister give it a 5. So I'm gonna meet in the middle and give it a 4.5 star. Right. So in the movie, of course, you know Fantasia plays Celie, the grown-up Celie. Halle Bailey plays the younger Nettie. Taraji P. Henson, she plays Suge Avery. Danielle Brooks plays Sophia. I love Danielle Brooks. Baby, I love me some Danielle Brooks. Coleman Domingo plays Albert Mr. Johnson. Corey Hawkins plays Harpo Johnson. Sierra plays the older Nettie. Her plays Squeak. Dion Cole plays Alfonso, which was Celie's dad. Tamla Mann plays First Lady. Felicia Mozzie plays Young Celie. Louis Gossett Jr. He plays Mr. Johnson, which is Albert's dad. Let's see. And one more. David Allen Greer. He plays Suge Avery's dad. So, there are other characters too. You know, they had a lot of stand-ins and extras. But those are like the main characters. And it was so good. I mean, I just want to say I read Alice Walker's book, The Color Purple. I also saw the first movie, The Color Purple, that came out in like 1985 or 6 or something like that. I watched that movie. So you saw both elements. I saw elements from that movie. You know, it like the storyline ran according to the book. Let's see. So, you know, a young Celie, of course, she was having babies by her dad. He would take the babies, give them away, and she didn't know, you know. But in the book, her dad owned a store, and she was working in the store. And so, he was a hard man too. Her dad was a hard man. Celie, do this and he was a hard man. So, what I will say is this movie, the elements of surprise is the singing. Like, you know, it wasn't a play, but they had brought the singing in. Like, oh, it was good. It was so good. I mean, it was so good. I don't even know what to call it. It's a movie, but it's singing in the movie. So, every song fit the situation. You know what I'm saying? Like, whatever the situation was going on at that time, the song that they sung fit that situation. Like, I was blown away by that. I really liked that aspect that they brought into it. So that made it different from the book. I mean, it actually made it different from the first Color Purple. You know, it follows along with the first movie as far as Mr. really wanted to marry Nettie, but the dad was like, no, Nettie's too smart. You can have Celie. So you can have Celie for, I think, 2 cows and some eggs, or 1 cow and some eggs. I think he said 2 cows and some eggs. And, you know, so of course he exchanged and she walk on home with him. Okay, so she get home and of course the house is a wreck. And of course, so he called the kids down, and the kids come down looking at her like, "Who are you?" And they look bad. It was 3 kids. They look terrible. They look bad. They look like the house was a mess, and the kids look like, yes, we did that. That's how the kids look, right? And so she's cooking for him and stuff. And then he was like, "When are you going to bathe them kids?" And she was saying it would have to be in the morning, right? Because she had just fixed dinner or whatever. And he slapped her to the floor. And I was like, wait a minute. Sir, your kids are old enough, look like, to bathe themselves. Like, why should she have to bathe your kids, sir? Them kids look to be at least 7, 8, 9, or 6, 7, 8, old enough to bathe themselves. So once he slapped her to the floor, of course she, you saw her with a towel, wiping down the little girl, whatever. But them kids old enough to, I couldn't be in those days. That's all I can say. I would not have lasted, because you would not put your hands on me and go to sleep, because all ain't well in the camp. All ain't well, and I'm not about to pretend all is well. So you have to go. Right? I must do something to you because you put your hands on me. That's where I would have stood. Anywho, so after, she's, gone with Albert, a short time later, here comes Nettie. She was like, her dad was trying to touch her or whatever, and so she left. Well, Albert only agreed to it because, for her to stay, he said, as long as I'm putting my phone on do not disturb, because I just thought about it. Because I don't want to get no messages. So of course, that meant, and if I make advances at you, you need to go on and let me do whatever I want to do to you. His yes, she could stay there was contingent, right? And everybody knew it. Because think about it, if you already saw the movie and you already read the book, then everybody already know that Nettie was who he really wanted in the first place, right? So she was there for a while, and then there he go like the snake he is. He go creeping in her room and, telling her, there's nothing she could do with him because he's bigger than her or whatever. But she fought him back. She fought him back so hard that he threw her out in the rain, threw her backpack out, went and got the gun, shot the gun up in the air, and said, "Get off my property." He was that mad because she would not allow him to mess with her. And then he go point the gun at her sister, and he was like, "If she come back over on this property, I'm gonna kill the both of you." You that mad, sir? You that upset, sir, that this baby didn't want you to touch her, sir? Oh, he was evil. Oh, I couldn't stand Albert in the book. I couldn't stand Albert in the first Color Purple I saw, and baby, I couldn't stand Albert in this one. I couldn't stand him in nothing I read or saw prior to now. And he did not disappoint. I couldn't stand him. Still can't. Right? Oh, and then the person they got playing him, he is spot on for Danny Glover to me. Spot on. Like, y'all went and scoured the world for somebody who looks similar to Danny Glover. I could not stand him. But anywho, that means he did his job. Let me see who played him. Okay, Coleman Domingo did his job, baby, because I couldn't stand him. Do you hear me? So she runs off now. Celie crying because she don't know if her sister's okay. She don't know what happened to her. She just know Albert made her leave. And so time is going on, next thing you know, in pops Fantasia Barrino's character of Celie. And Suge is coming to town, and he all excited about Suge coming to town. And of course, so Fantasia Celie, saw a picture of Suge or whatever, so she knew what she looked like. And so Suge had came, Albert tried to fix her some dinner, and he burnt it up. So then Celie made her something to eat, and she ate all of it up and threw the tray back out the door. And so the next thing you know, back in the day they had this record player that you used to have to crank it. So she was like, "I need a crank, and she told him she needs something in a crank. It might have been something to drink in a crank. But anywho, so Albert goes to do one thing, and then Fantasia goes into the room where Suge is, and cranked the record player up. And then she was like, "Where you going? I need my back washed." So she goes to wash her back. Okay, so then she done got lost in the sauce or whatever, and she's in dreamland, and oh, excuse me, she slips and her hand slips into the tub or whatever, and so that's how that ended. But Suge basically was trying to get Celie to live life, like she was trying to, she was trying to tell her, like, you know, you need to live, you need to experience more things in life, you need to experience life. And so she was all timid, and she was so used to Mr. beating on her and stuff that she was just timid and shy and all this stuff. So anywho, she was, checking to see if Nettie was writing her. Of course, Mister would get the mail, and she was like, "Was it anything in there for me?" And he was like, "That mail, everything in that mailbox belonged to me." He was just evil. And Nettie had been writing her, which she later found out. Nettie had been writing her, but of course, he wasn't giving her the mail. So Suge Suge had took her to, well, no, what's his name? Harpo had wanted Suge to sing at the juke joint. Okay, but let me go back to Sophia. So Sophia played by Danielle Brooks. Oh my God. To me, that is the role that stood out to me. Danielle Brooks brought it. She brought it. So, her and Harpo in love. She's pregnant by Harpo. So she's ready to go meet. She's ready to go meet Albert. So she goes, and Harpo's like, "You can't go in there," or whatever, because they found out he was down the way wherever, where the men go play cards and gamble and all this stuff. So she go in. And even in the first Color Purple, Sophia had her own mind. She, you wasn't about to run over her or get over on her or hit her or none of that. This Sophia did not disappoint. She was straightforward. She went to meet him, and he was like, Albert was trying to be nasty, but she was being nasty right back. She said, "I'm here to give respect, but if respect ain't given to me, guess what? I ain't giving it." Baby, she wasn't playing no games. So she was letting Mister know, if in fact you don't want to respect me, I'm not gonna respect you. So her and Harpo was leaving or whatever, and they're gonna Albert being nasty. "Harpo, don't you take one more step." So of course Sophia was like, "Harpo, don't keep me waiting," just like she did in the first one. So next thing that they get married. They did get married. Sophia and Harpo got married. He was building her house, on the swamp, which later they turned into the juke joint, but he built her a house. And so he sat down and told Celie, with a knot on his head, that he cannot tame Danielle. I mean, that he cannot tame Sophia. And so, he was like, "She don't act like you." And Celia was like, "Every woman is not the same." He wanted Sophia to be timid and walk around there like she's stepping on eggshells, just like Celia was. But that wasn't Sophia's character. Every woman is not the same. Sophia is, if you hit her, she's gonna hit you back. You're not gonna run her. You're not gonna tell her what to do. And Celia said, "Beat her." So he went, and I guess he hit her. And she came back. She came back and she said, "You told Harpo to beat me?" And Celia lied and said no. She said, "Yes, you did. Yes, you did." She said, "Well, I didn't. No, you did tell him to beat her." And so, baby, her nor her family played that. Baby, her sister and them came, packed up her baby, packed up her stuff, and baby left him where he stood, right? And she left. So, that was the end of that. So then when his daddy saw him with the knot on his head, he said, "What happened to you?" And he was like, "A mule did it." He said, "A mule wearing a dress," because the daddy already knew Sophia had clocked him upside. His daddy already knew Sophia had clocked him upside the head. So Sophia went off, by her business. She left him. Okay, so then, he got with Squeak, which is played by her. He got with Squeak. And so, she did come to town. She came to sing at the juke joint for him. And so, she had invited Celie to come, to the juke joint. And so, after the juke joint, they left. Now, mind you, again, here it go. Now, Harpo was with Squeak, right? So Sophia had came back into town with a whole new man named Buster. She came back into town. She came to the juke joint. She had a man. She had a man. She had a baby. She said they had a baby. She was not trying to get back with Harpo. Period. So, they show, so Squeak was feeling some type of way because Harpo was, tripping over the fact that Sophia was there because he loved Sophia, right? He loved her, right? So he goes and they dance, and he even tell Buster, he was like, hey, I just want to take one dance with him. He was like, oh, no problem, whatever. And so they dance and stuff, and here comes Squeak. She left you, and I had to pick up the pieces, and she was like, fine with me, right? So she was like, that wasn't good enough for her. She was like, you ain't nothing but a big fat heifer, and hit Sophia. Baby Sophia balled her fist up and knocked her clean out. So then they started a brawl, and Sugar grabbed Celie, and they got out of there. Next thing you know, they went to a movie. She wanted to show her a different part of life. She was like, you need to live. So then after the movie, they came back home, and then Suge was going to Memphis. Okay, so she was going to Memphis, and this is when Celie told her, don't go, because when you leave, he treats he's nicer when you here. And she said, when you leave, he beats me. She said, he beats you? Why he do that? She said, because I'm not you. That's why he do it, because I'm not you. And so she said, I promise you, I'm coming back. I'm just gonna be gone. By the time you think about it, I'll be back. And so she get ready and she leave to go to Memphis. And so ooh, my hands. Oh, I'm trying to pause it. So she leaves to go to Memphis, and so, but before she left, she had went to the mailbox. The mailman had gave her some mail, and it was a letter from Nettie. So they went and looked throughout the house, and they found a box in the closet, hidden in the closet up under a gun, and it had letters upon letters. I mean, just a mound of letters Nettie had been sending. And Nettie wasn't sure if she was alive, because she wasn't sure if she was alive, and she wasn't sure if her sister even was receiving the letters, because she never wrote her back. And so she started reading the letters, and she told her that, God worked it out, and guess what? She actually have her 2 kids with her, and so she reading the letters, she getting caught up in the letters, and the first time she served dinner late, and Mr. had a fit, and he threw a plate on the floor, and he was like, if I gotta eat late, I'm gonna be the only one eating, and all this stuff, clean it up. I mean, he was just nasty, just nasty. So, Sophia and Buster went to get ice cream, right? They went to the little stop, get ice cream. And so they get out the car. Her and her kids get out, go over there, buy some ice cream. So the mayor's wife, she was like, oh, your kids are so clean. Those kids are so clean. Are those your kids? And blah, blah, blah. Would you want to be my maid? And she told her no. And so, she said it again. Well, her husband didn't like how she said it. And so he slapped her. And so she hit him. And then all of a sudden, she's surrounded by all these white men. And they hit her in the face with something. I think like a baton. Hit her in the face, throw her in jail. And she was in jail for 6 years. And while she was there, Celie would go and visit her and take her food and stuff like that. And like she was sitting there talking to her, I think it was Thanksgiving, and she said, I heard that you wasn't eating anything and that you hadn't ate in days, and please eat this food. And before she could just get in a deep conversation, the man was like, "It's time to go. It's time to go." And she said, "I just got here, sir." He says, "Time to go." So she's sitting there and she look up at her. Tears coming out her eyes. Her eye was red from, this the eye that had hit her in. And, so when they did release her, she had to go, the white lady complained like, I'm going to let her work with me till she get on her feet. But evidently that was a part of the condition of her being released was so she can go and work with her, right? Because when they released her, Buster had went on by his business. So the kids that she had with Buster and also the kid that she had with Harpo, they was out there with Harpo. So they all gathered around her and everything. And so she walked on. Celie had made her jacket and she got in the car with the white lady, and they drove out. So, yeah, so they drove out. So then, Celie was she was so busy reading these letters, and Albert called her name, and he hit her. He slapped her so hard she fell toward the window, knocked the curtain down, and he was like, "Sugar coming to town. Give me a shave, and your hand, you better have a steady hand." Baby, I'd have slit throat. Baby, he wouldn't even. Baby, see, I couldn't even been back in them days. I'm sorry. Because, baby, if you think you about to abuse me and then give me a razor, and I'm supposed to just shave you close and not kill you, baby, what saved her to, Suge had pulled up because he felt it. She was gonna slit his throat. He felt it, right? Cause the car pulled up and then Suge hop out and she goes over there and she was like, "I's married now," because she done married this dude. She done married this joker, and she was like, "We both married now." And they go in the house and all this old stuff. And Al was standing there looking stupid because he felt it. She was gonna kill him. So they was having dinner. And, Sophia was there. And so, they decide that Celie decided she was going to leave with Suge. So, he was like, "You over my dead body?" Apple was like, "Over my dead body." She said, "Good. If that's how you want to do it or whatever, that's all I need." And so, he was like, "You ain't going nowhere," and blah. He was just going on and on and on. And baby, she grabbed that knife, put it to his throat. His dad is sitting there looking at him. He's standing there holding his throat when it was all over for the second time. Because, she was going to cut him up with that razor the first time. But Suge saved him. This time, she grabbed that knife, had it up to his throat. He just holding, rubbing his throat where that knife was at. And baby, they left. He's like, "You're ugly. Suge got talent. You ugly. You don't have no talent. You don't have no. You can't do nothing." She said, "I might be ugly. I might be poor, but I'm here." So then he's still talking. She said, everything you've done to me have already been done to you." And so she leaves. They leave, go to Memphis, and so Suge got this big fancy house, right? So, she goes and shows Celie her room and all this stuff. And mind you, when they left during Thanksgiving, okay, so Sophia was sitting there and she was like, and this was touching to me. Sophia was like, "Miss Celie, when you came, when you came to the jail to visit me every week, that touched me. I know there was a God, and excuse me." And so, that was emotional for me. I was like, oh, Lord. Tears welling up in my eyes. But it was so emotional because she was giving her flowers and she was thanking her for coming. Even though she was in this dark place and even though she was in jail, she was saying, you came, you kept coming, kept bringing food and kept checking on me, kept making sure I was all right. And I thank you for it. And so, when they got ready to go, Squeak said, I'm leaving too. And he said, and so Harpo was like, where are you going? She said, he was like, Squeak, wait. She said, my name is Mary Agnes and I'm going. And so he went to, she ran out and he went to go get her. And the grandpa looking like, what in the world is going on? Y'all don't have no control over these people, right? And so of course, Celie had to tell the granddaddy off too, because, you the reason Albert the way he this way. You the reason, so she had to, break him down to size 2, break him down like a fraction, And so, they leave, like I said, they could leave and go to Memphis. And so, next thing you know, Celie get a phone call. Her daddy had died. And so the lady who he was married to said, hey, meet me at the store. And so when she met her at the store, she gave her the keys to that store. And she said, this belongs to you and your sister. And she said, she did let her know that the Alfonso, the man who she thought was her daddy, was not her daddy. That was who her mama married after her daddy had died. But this building belonged to her mama. And her mama left it to her and her sister. And what happened is Alfonso was just running it, once her mama died. He just took over. And see, since he died, the will and all this stuff is in Celie's and her sister Nettie's name. So everything goes to Celie and her sister Nettie. So she gave her the keys and, she left. Okay, so Celie turns it into, because of course she know how to sew. So she opened the place, turns into this store. She's selling pants and, she's doing the thing, right? And Albert just being mean and nasty. He don't have a wife no more because she left him. So he's at the juke joint all night, getting drunk, doing nothing, getting on people's nerve. And so Phil told him, she was like, you need to do something about Albert. You need to do something about him. And so he get him and he tell him, send him home. He was like, Dad, you okay? He was like, I'm fine. He said, okay. So then he goes and it started raining. He was going home, and then it started raining. He fall, and he was like, I'm sorry. I'm gonna do right. Because he remembered she said, ain't nothing you do, everything you do gonna crumble. Even his crops. His crops had bees in them, so he had to burn down all the crops and restart over, and then he had to do it again. He had to burn it down again because the man said, we're gonna have to burn it down again and start over. So he done had to burn down his crops, burn them out, completely out, so he can do away with the bad land, so he can try to recoup and recover and start over. But when he did recoup, recover, and start over, it was bad again. So now he had to go burn it down for a second time. So now he's thinking, oh, he's sorry, whatever. So he got that letter in the mail. The mailman came, gave him this letter, and Nettie was saying how she needs somebody to prove that she is an American citizen. So Albert actually went to the immigration to try to prove something. And can you believe he told the man he'll sell some of his land? He did all the necessary paperwork for Nettie and them to come back. And so when he had bought the pants, he had bought these ugly, shiny, silver-looking pants. He showed up at the shop, and so she said, can I help you or whatever? And he said, I'm just gonna buy a pair of these pants nobody want. And he was like, can we sometime? She said, we can be friends, right? And so he leave or whatever. And so he had brought her more letters from Nettie, Suge gave his picture, a little rattle that she had made for her baby, like a little box full of stuff that she had at the house. And so behind the door, behind the scenes, he actually paid to get them sent over here. And so she invited Albert to her Easter, some kind of Easter celebration dinner they were having. And so he shows up wearing those silver pants that he everybody making fun of them pants. And so he show up and he's talking to her and stuff. And so he was like, I invited some people. And so she was like, well, we already really got enough people, but who he invited was her sister and her kids and her grandkids, right? And so her sister got the car singing, and she turned around and she was so excited, and the sister, they go and hug, and she introduced her to her kids, then she introduced her to her grandkids, and it came full circle. And then they both had the nerve that talking about, her and Nettie talking about they feel as young as ever. I guess they were saying, yeah, a lot of time has elapsed, but I feel young. I feel young as ever. And so I think, okay, so Albert, he was horrible. He was so horrible. He was horrible. But I will say this. The fact that he made the way for them to come over here and did all the necessary paperwork and stuff for them to come here, and then surprised Celie with them, made up for all the ugly that he done. It totally made it up for me. So originally I said I was gonna give it a 4.5 stars. So I'm gonna give it a 5, because to me that kicked it up a little bit. Like, yeah, he really did learn, right? And he really did try, and he really did to me, that was his way of apologizing to her for being so horrible to her. That was his way of making up to her. That was his way of proving to her that he was sorry. And he did that. So I'm going to go ahead and kick that to a 5. From a 1 to a 5 star, I'm going to go ahead and kick that to a 5. Because, I just thought about that little element there. And yeah, he made up for it. He made up for being such a jerk. He made up for being so ugly and evil. He made up in that moment. He made up. So, with that being said, that's how it went off. Like, yeah, Fantasia, they had the tap dance and everything. Like, they had all kind of elements in it. Like, it was, I want to say, what they say, adaptation. Like, I read the book, I saw the original movie, and I saw this one, and you can tell, like, there was aspects of it. Like, Suge did not sing, maybe God's trying to tell you something. She didn't sing the full song. She sung some, like, just a little bit of it. The chorus part of it or whatever. She did not sing the full song. And so, but she did sing Sister. Taraji did her thing too, and that was her actually singing. So she could sing. So Taraji was singing, Danielle Brooks was singing. Danielle Brooks can sing too. My favorite character, I promise you, in this whole series, in this whole movie, was Danielle Brooks' role of Sophia. I absolutely totally loved Danielle Brooks. And I was looking at an interview, and Danielle Brooks and Corey Hawkins actually went to Juilliard together. And when they offered him the role of Harpo, he asked them, he was like, who is playing Sophia? And the man was like, I don't know. I don't think we have cast her. He told him, he said, my Sophia is Danielle Brooks. He remembered his friend. He said, because they came up together. They graduated together. It was only them two. I guess there was only 2 black ones at the time. And they had each other to lean on in a friend capacity. And he said he told the director when he talked to him, Sophia for him is Danielle Brooks. I thought that was, I kudos to him. He is, Corey Hawkins is a great young man. He's a great young man. And it wasn't all about him. See, he was reaching back and grabbing those who he knew who came up with him, and I applaud him for that. Corey Hawkins, kudos to you, young man. And so that was my take on my 2 cents on The Color Purple. We just got back from seeing it, like literally like an hour ago, if an hour. And I said I promised that I was gonna come home and do a review on it, and so I came in, rushed, did what I needed to do, and came and sat down while I was fresh on my mind. But this movie, it was, like I said, at first I was going to give it a 4.5 stars, but I'm going to go ahead and give it a 5 stars. I loved it. I absolutely loved it. The songs that they added into it, it fit the moment. It fit the moment. And if I had to give breakout star, it goes to Danielle Brooks. When I tell you it goes to Danielle Brooks. Like, this young woman, she got a bright future ahead of her. She has a bright future ahead of her. Her acting is on point. She can sing, and when I tell you, she plays Sophia. She plays Sophia, and so kudos to her. Kudos to Corey Hawkins and kudos to Danielle Brooks. And I just want to say, Fantasia's my girl. I remember when she won American Idol. I watched that whole. The man was coming over. I had a repairman coming over to my house to fix something. I couldn't even hear what he was saying because I was like, "Sir, they're about to announce who about to win." It was out of Fantasia Barrino and Diana DeGormo. Diana DeGormo. And I was like, "Sir, you're gonna have to hold on." It was out of them two, and I told him I can't even pay attention to you, sir. They're about to announce who the winner is. So I've been rocking with Fantasia ever since American Idol. I love Fantasia. I love Taraji. A lot of the other people I don't know. Dion Cole, he's a comedian. Of course, Ciara. I really don't know her music because I'm not. I don't know her music, but I know she sings. And of course, Tamla Mann, we know her. David Mann, she had a role as the first lady. David Allen Greer, of course, we know him from everything. Living Color. He's been around a long, long time. Just give him flowers where they do. But like Corey Hawkins, I've never seen him in anything, and if I did, like I don't remember. But I just totally loved him as Harpo. Coleman Domingo, I've never seen him in anything with his chocolate self, the one who played Mister. He did that because he made me couldn't stand his guts. So that means he actually came and brought it with his portrayal of Albert Mr. Johnson. So, with that being said, Halle Bailey, of course, she played young Nettie. She doing her thing, and Taraji, of course, everybody loves Taraji. And I just want to say this movie, The Color Purple, was great. It came out today all over, and you guys need to go and see it for yourselves. This was just my 2 cents on it. My name is Sean. This is my 2 cents, and I will see you all in my next review. Bye.